on about your business. Hey, I was talking to you.
Deus Ex Invisible War is basically what you would get if you went to buy the original Deus Ex from Wish.com. It is a divisive game amongst the fanbase to say the least, and out of the 4 main Deus Ex entries seems to be the one that gets forgotten or ignored the most. Originally a console game ported to PC, which brought with it a host of problems, it received a lukewarm reception and failed to match the cult-like status of its predecessor. One of the changes Invisible War makes is rebranding Augmentations to Biomods, even though they are basically the same thing. But for consistency's sake, I am just going to call them Augmentations to try and bridge the gap between this and my other Deus Ex videos. This wasn't going to be my next video, but as progress on another challenge was starting to stagnate, I decided to listen to my viewers after a recent poll and give this one a bash in the interim. So without further ado, join me in finding out, can you beat Deus Ex Invisible War without augmentations? Whilst the opening cutscene plays, I'll explain the rules. I cannot beat the game utilising any abilities granted by augmentations. That's basically it. I'd also like to mention that getting Invisible War to work on a modern setup was quite annoying, but I managed to find a workaround using the Visible Upgrade mod and by enabling multi-core support. This seemed to fix most of my problems, but not all. A further point of frustration as well was having to manually turn off Shadowplay between each loading transition, as leaving this on would crash the game between levels. And believe me, as a console game ported to PC, this game is chopped up into much smaller bite-sized portions than any other Deus Ex before or after. I choose the realistic difficulty, pick a colour scheme, and decide upon a male Alex D, given it was clearly a bloke in that test tube back in Area 51. I awake in my bedroom, have some fun with the physics engine, and have a convo with Dr. Nassif before realising Alex has a bad case of pink eye. I raid the fridge, try and fail to make myself a coffee, and have a refreshing shower.
Something's definitely off about this place.
I have a chat with Billy to progress the story, raid her fridge, and perform this trick shot with a pillow. I get cheek from this guard, so punish him accordingly, head downstairs to meet my fellow trainees, and end up chasing Jankowski. Dr. Nassif can't hide the fact we're under attack any longer, so after playing some basketball, I grab my stuff and get my first taste of realistic difficulty. Oh, well, that was easy. I'll be upfront with you now, guys. Realistic difficulty in Invisible War is nowhere near as savage as it was in the OG Deus Ex, and I think it has something to do with both Alex and NPCs taking more damage, almost like a risk-reward thing. Back in the apartments, and I loot some stuff, realise why my bedroom had something of an echo, and climb through a hole. Now we're at the point where the game is trying to give you the augmentation tutorial and 3 aug canisters to boot. Annoyingly, the game won't let me progress without taking and installing at least one, but having an aug installed and using an aug during the game are 2 different things, so I simply install the equivalent of the flashlight aug so I can progress the story. Remember, even the original Deus Ex had some augs installed by default. After chatting to the voyeuristic scientists, I deny myself another aug canister, do some shooty bang bang, and speak with a ventriloquist.
We're stuck here.
After blowing up a spider, I waste a good chunk of my ammo trying to kill a turret. Oh yeah, the ammo in this game is universal across all weapons.
Because that makes sense.
And take a message from someone definitely not related to Maggie Chow. Now outside the Tarsus facility and I get into an altercation, have my revenge on a rat for all the forced reloads on my previous video, and take out the trash. After recreating the opening of my first Deus Ex video, I get a quest to destroy some coffee, struggle to move a chair, and begin to establish myself as an utter maniac.
Gotcha, bitch!
Club Vox now and I chat up a man at the bar.
I would love to be your chamber boy.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't know that.
Have a boogie, pick up another side quest for the Omar, and somehow end up killing just about everyone. Luckily, the club owner is an idiot and doesn't think it at all suspicious that I am the only living person in a room full of dead people, and gives me yet another side quest. I head to the nearby apartments to start cashing in on said quests, and I don't know about you, but every time I use a multi-tool, in my head I hear Alopamora. Seriously, it looks like I'm casting a spell. I deny myself another org canister, grab the data cube I need, and kill a businessman. I get taken to low health by the janitor and his buddy, which shortly after, unsurprisingly, results in my first death. I fail miserably at laser parkour, pick up a lightsaber, and get the next data cube I need for a quest. I'm starting to see a pattern here. Low on health and ammo, I decide to continue to pick fights in order to resupply, but now the realistic difficulty is at least starting to live up to its name. It takes me 6 attempts to finally sort these boys out and restock somewhat, but I do and press ever forward. I cosplay as a barista, bulk buy some snacks to not get caught short on health again, talk to Clara, and get attacked by a door. I get an objective from Donna Morgan to find a pilot, and pick up another side quest from this man before stealing his lunch. Back at the eerily quiet Vox Club, I scan a box for the Omar, talk to the club owner who still suspects me of nothing to cash in another quest, and break into his office for another data cube. I complete another side quest, arrive at the Inclinator so I can make my way to Lower Seattle, and end up getting roped into cleaning up a chemical spill. I'm all for one voice actor playing multiple parts, but this is ridiculous.
If that nanoformer was up, we'd be fine. Of course, you just changed the code, and we've got no way to reach it. Seems like someone's got to fix the nanoformer or release that repair bot. If only we could release the repair.
After clearing up the spillage without dying at all, I cast Alohomora on a box, complete the associated quest, and finally begin to make my way to the next hub area.
Oh, for God's sake!
Lower Seattle now, and I make my way to the Greasel pit to find a pilot, where interestingly the game gives you 2 choices, Sid Black or Ava Johnson. The main difference is Sid charges you per flight but typically drops you closer to your objective, and Ava charges nothing but will start you further away.
My plan is that I will be pilot and I'll help everyone. Pilot.
Given how small these levels are and wanting to keep as much free cash for explosives and... I opt for Ava on this playthrough, though you can swap and change between levels. I decide to bet 250 credits on some Greasel fighting, which looks a little like this. Thrilling. And I pick up another side quest to basically fix the next game so I can win big. Heading to the Heron's Loft apartments, I get stuck in a lift, break into a man's home, and get Uno reverse killed by the Greasel I was meant to cap. Reloading, and I nearly die again, but by my own hand this time, so decide to let my pet robot spider take care of things since I'm clearly incapable. I kill the Queequeg manager because I like my coffee Pequod, play with some boxes, and talking to this Omar grants me an org canister that I don't want, so I decide to reload.
Disgusting!
I take care of the beans for Pequod, deny this man access to his own office, and place a large bet on the Greasel Snake Eyes to win after taking care of the competition.
Read the pit now. Use your head.
Breathtaking. I decide to take care of Sophia Sack to free up my quest journal a bit, which goes well right up until the point it doesn't.
If he breathes, he's a god!
With that done, I decide to visit the Order at their nearby church to see what they want from me, and end up speaking with Her Holiness, whose voice sounds eerily familiar.
Alex D. of Tarsus Academy. You are alive. Have faith. The Order of Church condemns the illegal biomodification experiments performed on you and the other trainees.
I get a quest from Lin May to take care of the rogue Order member who organised the attack on the Tarsus facility at the beginning of the game, and witness poltergeist activity. In the interest of finishing as many side quests as I can, I head back to Heron Loft Apartments, lock some cats in a bathroom, have an epic battle with a turret, and admire Sophia Sack's final resting place.
My back!
I decide to clear out the nearby hangar simply to be able to take as much loot with me as I progress through the game, but quickly find myself with multiple new orifices. Here's another slightly annoying thing about this game. Dead bodies drop their loot like weapons and ammo on the floor beneath them, but most of the time when you want to pick that up, you end up picking up their dead body instead, meaning you have to yeet them out the way before you can collect your spoils. 4 deaths later and I finally cleared out all the baddies, failed to pick up this grenade, and then have to do it all over again because of this BS. That done and I cast a spell, finally get to loot the hangar, and install some weapon mods for an advantage. I make my way back to the Inclinator to take care of a side quest for the Order, break a leg, chuck a man, and tag team these baddies with my pet spider, who, after succeeding, does a little victory dance. After failing to destroy a wooden box with a futuristic weapon, it's time to face the hardest boss in the entire game. Captain Lamar. It doesn't go well. After getting back to the captain without dying at all, I opt for a preemptive attack this time, which clearly results in a favourable outcome. I grab the data cube I need, cash in the quest, and get my next main story objective, break into the Mayo facility and grab a gun. All side quests done, I decide now's a good time to free Ava Johnson's copter, so I charm a robotic dog, disable the missile batteries, and take my 30th death. Reloading and I activate the pilot beacon, have beef with a repair robot, deny myself an AUG canister, and witness this desecration of the dead. Now we're at the Mayo facility and I begin my dumpster diving, solid snaking my way through a vent, and get the lowdown on the building from the groundskeeper. I grow impatient waiting for him to move, so have to end things, throw a brush, and double tap a man. I'm starting to get conflicting objectives from the various women in my DMs, something which has already become a trend throughout the game, and perform this trick shot on a receptionist. No witnesses. I'm only allowed 1 drink from the dispenser, convert a dog, create a few vacancies, and take some damage from a suspicious scientist. I find the gun that I need to progress the story, and despite being a complete random stranger, the scientist in charge just lets me pick it up without any aggro. My success is short-lived, however, as I get killed on my way out, but after reloading I make my way to the elevator, talk to some bald ladies, spot an alien, and accidentally unalive everyone.
Oh, what's he gonna do?
I deny myself an AUG canister, end a man, and get some info on Dr. Nassif setting up the next chapter of the game. Fun fact, the project director has the same voice actor as Walton Simons. Well, had.
Just fire the arrogant son of a bitch.
After leaving the Mayo facility interior, I nearly get turned into a s'more by this guard, do a bit of looting, kill a glitching man, and make it back to Ava without further incident. Cairo now, and my objective is to find Dr. Nassif, so to that end I pick up a coffee-related side quest, bribe a corrupt guard for a pass into archaeology, and throw a small pyramid at her.
Stop that!
I join the Templars, which is ironic given my semi-augmented state.
Really round up freaks and murder them?
Let me say simply that no war is without its battle.
Sign me up.
Pick up another coffee-related side quest, as well as another side quest from NG Resonance. At the mosque, my weapons are disabled by a man who can talk without moving his mouth, gatecrash a conversation between Billy and Saman, who most certainly won't turn out to be a baddie, and attack a sick man. I accept another quest to get a kid into the Tarsus Academy, use the loo, and wash my hands. I loot a box, which has no consequence for me at all, bump into Jankowski and the Omar to get another side quest, and receive in-game confirmation that I'm sticking to the rules.
You are only minimally biomodified.
From the safety of a vent, I spy on the Templars to get the intel for Jankowski, ask for the appropriate endorsement because I like my coffee quick, disturb a trolley, struggle to engage a ladder, and prepare to face the hardest boss in the entire game. The big boy robot. Although I managed to take it and most of the other goons out first go, my victory is short-lived courtesy of the surviving guard. I succeed on my next go with much aggravation and pick up the schematics for the Omar. Oh, for God's sake! Third time's the charm, and after dealing with the boss and goons, I take my swift revenge and get myself the intel and key codes to progress the story. Another data cube in the bag, and I upset some barrels, cash in a side quest, and get an idle threat from a guard who clearly hasn't seen my body count. I confront the archaeology chairman over the plague business, and he makes the mistake of trying to bribe me.
Justice.
I cash in another quest with NG Resonance, do the thing to clean the air because despite being a serial killer, I'm actually quite a good guy, and tell the Quaid coffee guy about his endorsement, who rewards me with a weapon mod because that makes sense. Everyone knows if you need an extended mag for an AK-47, you only need to pop down to Starbucks. These men tried to mug me for credits, which is the last mistake they'll ever make. I kill this rat for no witnesses and head towards Nassif Greenhouse. After stealing the Nassif family loaf, I get into an altercation with a turret, destroy the greenhouse, which really annoys the Order, and blowing up this dog turns it into a chair. I get attacked by an Order hit squad for my insubordination, but when I succeed in killing them, get a message from Lin May as though she's just taught me a lesson and I've not just handed them their ass. I give Jankowski the Templar raid intel, cash in a quest for the Omar, and now with my side quests considerably depleted, decide to press on with the main objective. After exiting the elevator at the corporate suites, I'm confronted by Clara, who gives me an AUG canister, which I really don't want floating on my HUD for the rest of the game.
Disgusting!
Foyer clear of baddies, I make my way through the facility. The flashlight is the pistol's alternative fire, by the way, and rendezvous with the security chief, who is supposedly augmented himself. I'll ask for a refund, mate. After taking out more Templars, I resupply on health and diabetes, press deeper into the facility, and waste 3 grenades trying to kill a dog. I deny myself an AUG canister and finally confront Dr. Nassif, who drops the bombshell that I am a Denton and JC is my brother. I get a hint that Tracer Tong is in Germany, and through him I can find JC, which just about wraps up what I need to do in Cairo for now, main story-wise. Before I go, and in keeping with the spirit of this run, I have just one more thing to do. I wrap up a quest for Jankowski, annoy a cat, and go and visit Mr. Nassif shortly after capping his daughter and blowing up his greenhouse. For obvious reasons, he doesn't want to help me gain access to the Tarsus Academy, but like everything noteworthy in this universe, it's written on a nearby data cube. There appears to be an epidemic of missing children at the Tarsus Academy, but thankfully that doesn't stop them from letting a complete stranger wander about. After bullying a child, I chat with the headmaster, who isn't suspicious at all, find a secret room in broad daylight, and crash the game with a death. After reloading, I edge the physics engine, take on a pest control job, and deny myself an AUG canister. Back at the not-so-secret room, I take out the turret this time, aloe Homora my way into a cupboard, and take out the Templars camping in the generator room. I confront the headmaster for his child-stealing ways, apply rigorous justice to him and the entire campus, and traumatise some children. I cash in a quest, find the missing kids who seem to be
too dangerous to duck. Too dangerous to duck. Too dangerous to duck. Too dangerous to duck.
Yeah. And admire the fruits of my labour. Finally done with Cairo, and it's time to make our way to the homeland of Gunther Hermann. Germany now, and I frustrate a cat, enter a pub, disagree with a woman, and boogie down with NG Resonance. I meet up with Tracer Tong, who tells me of a portal that can get me to JC, but surprise, surprise, the facility has been taken over by the Templars. I spot a spicy painting, get a message from SSC leader Chad Dumier, and pay for these boys to leave a man alone.
I'm glad we found an agreeable solution.
What is going on?
SSC HQ now, and I satisfy my snack addiction, speak with Chad, who wants me to break into the Blackgate facility to rescue his security chief and side chick, and so that's what I head off to do. Big boy robot defeated, I loot my victims, have more trouble with a spider than its organic masters, and show you don't need orgs to be the master of stealth. I make it inside the Blackgate facility, and it is of course overrun with Templars, but that's no threat to a man with a pistol and magic wand. I find the WTO security chief and her holiness, who turns out to be none other than Nicolette Duclair, who informs me some man from the Order is a Templar spy and has robbed a component that we need to get the portal to JC open. En route back to SSC HQ, and I spot these floating bin lids, debrief the Illuminati couple, loot the evidence lockup, and deny myself an AUG canister. I complete a quest for Queequeg, which turns out to be the same company as Pequod, causing this man to glitch out. I hitch a ride with Ava to get back the stolen component needed to progress the story, go dumpster diving again, and speak with perhaps the greatest character in all of Deus Ex. I fight my way to the Templar church without any real issue, nearly get blown up, and confront Minisa Man, who comes complete with an evil laugh. He tells me he has sent his agent Billy on ahead to kill JC, which is annoying because that's what I wanted to do. I enter a conversation whilst stepping on a rat, causing this to happen.
To the canal? My mom said to see if we need a message board. We need the credits.
Climb a wall, and die. After denying myself some more org canisters, I finally download the thing I need, Debrief Tong, and learn the truth about Lin Mei Chen, who seems to be having a crisis of faith.
They lied to me.
Back in the Blackgate facility, and I fix a generator with magic, load the sequencing module, and make my way to JC's base in Antarctica.
Hey, you. Finally awake.
Let's go.
I arrive at the base, get an exposition dump from the Greys, and meet a penguin. After taking out the big boy robot without dying at all, I continue to make a nuisance of myself, get trash-talked by Billy, and steal the Templar's stuff. Here is where I face my first encounter with armoured troops, and let me just say, these particular enemies gave me the most problem for the remainder of this run. They supposedly have a weak point on their backs, but I could never seem to land a critical hit on them. JC's Sanctuary now, and the first order of business is moving through some key areas from the original Deus Ex, but remade in Invisible War's engine. That done, and it's time to face the hardest boss in the entire game. Billy Adams and her spiders. It doesn't go well. After taking only my 40th death, I managed to beat her, but am left quite low on ammo and healing items. Nevertheless, I press on to meet with JC. JC asks me to return to Cairo to free our brother Paul, as well as pontificating on choosing his ending. He clearly doesn't know what I'm all about though. Before leaving, I deny myself an orc canister, get ambushed by the heavy Templars, play hide and seek, and die. After another death, I basically have no usable weapons, so start chucking spider bots like some insane Pokemon trainer to deal with the Templars. I eventually find more ammo, have a chat with Simon who wants me to pick his ending, and finish looting what I can before pressing towards the VersaLife facility. I managed to take out the Templars outside with little fanfare, but one Greasel is all it takes to send me back to the main menu. Twice. I finish looting this part of the facility but need to restore power before I can turn on the flight beacon for Ava to come and get me. To that end, I say hello to a penguin and press deeper into the base, employing lethal tactics as I go. The underground base is crawling with Greasels and Karkians, so I opt for stealthier routes to save ammo. I deny myself an orc canister, get burned by goo, and spot a Karkian being odd. I find a Templar who locked himself in a cell, so decide to give him some company before restoring power. Of course, restoring power brings in a bunch of Templars, so I deal with them accordingly. Back on the surface now, and I stumble across perhaps the most heinous thing I have ever seen in a video game. The Templars killed a penguin, and now I have to avenge it. I meet Ava at the helipad and prepare to return to Cairo. Ava warns me that Cairo has been taken over by the Templars and that Paul Denton is currently in cryo storage at the Arcology flight base. I get a message from Chad whilst trying to mount a ladder to kill Paul, and even get an elite Illuminati troop as backup. I tell him to go suck an egg, however, and he attacks me before scarpering, likely to reappear later as a boss. I bump into Jankowski, who's now gone almost full Omar, but having cold feet at the proverbial altar of transhumanism. I give him some cash so he can flee Cairo, and he agrees to meet me on Liberty Island for the final showdown later on. I get this extreme close-up of Mr. Nassif followed by a side quest, take out the Templars in the apartment above for vacuuming after 10 PM. I get 200 credits and his gratitude for this, despite being the sole reason he won't have to send as many Christmas cards this year. I take a death from the heavy Templars guarding the Arcology entrance, take another death from the Templars guarding the mosque, but on my third go manage to breach the interior and even convert the big boy robot into an ally to make killing it a doddle. I resupply my personal vending machine, stand imposingly over a child, and spook a woman.
I can't take anymore! Run, bitch! Run!
Finally at the archaeology level, and I'm immediately thrown into combat, witness this hellish sight, and get an invitation to save NG Resonance. After accidentally doing a bit of arson, I arrive at the air terminal to save Paul, am greeted by the Illuminati guy who shot at me earlier, and pretend to side with the Templars to avoid being turned into Swiss cheese. For now. I find NG Resonance, who is nothing like her digital counterpart, and after setting off a stink bomb, die. I watch the Templars and SSC security go at it for a while, which is thirsty work, activate the pilot beacon so I can exit the level once complete, and get stuck on a ladder again. I accidentally side with the Templars properly by allowing my blood sample to be taken, which results in Paul Denton being slowly obscured from view, so I reload to enact my actual plan. Using the nearby explosive box, I manage to take out a sizable chunk of the Templar forces, but also perish in the resulting firefight. My second go I fare much better right up until the point I don't, and finally on my third attempt I go all the way and deny myself an org canister or two. I revive Paul, effectively completing my main objectives for Cairo, but before I can escape I have to face the hardest bosses in the entire game, the elite Illuminati commandos. Not only do they mostly fight invisible, but upon death release something of a large fart cloud that can eat away at your health in seconds. I grab a rocket launcher, which will turn out to be one of the smarter decisions I make in this challenge, and go back to take care of NG Resonance.
I don't want to get myself shot.
Making my way to the end of the level results in a death from one of the elite commandos, showcasing what I said earlier about how deadly their post-death farts really are. Yeah, not this time, you smelly bastard. With that done, it's time to meet up with JC, Paul, and the rest of the OG Deus Ex main characters at Liberty Island. The original Deus Ex started on Liberty Island, so I feel that there is something poetic that its sequel and chronologically the last game in the series is to end here. We have, to put it mildly, come full circle for the original Deus Ex story, and whilst the prequel series narrative may never be complete, this narrative ends here and now. As I have annoyed basically everyone, most of the island is hostile to me, and believe me, I'm not done with ruining things yet. My first stop is the Illuminati encampment, where I easily take out these two elite commandos and their robot xenomorph. Breaking into the building from a convenient hatch, I confront the leaders of the Illuminati, who still tried to get me to join them despite all they've done to try and stop me. As I've travelled too far down the path of chaotic evil, I simply roll up my sleeves and prepare to face the hardest bosses in the entire game, Chad Dumier and Nicolette Duclair.
Together forever, in death.
After a brief skirmish, I finally make my way to my next target, deny myself an orc canister, and face the hardest boss in the entire game, Tracer Tong. Respawning, and I take special measures to not die this time, which seemed excessive since he dies in one hit. Sweet. I take another death for my assault on the Templar stronghold, but am successful next time around, even killing the hardest boss in the entire game, Saman, before I realised what I had done and hide his body accordingly. UNATCO now, and I meet up with Jankowski for a bit of on-the-ground support. I wanted to get a clip of me shooting this orc canister, but Jankowski's hitbox is huge, and I end up shooting him instead and turning him hostile. Yeesh. Now on my 54th incarnation of Alex D, and I officially get the exciting goal that I've been working the whole game towards. Defeat everyone. I make my way to the base of JC, Paul and the Greys, have no idea where Jankowski's got to, so decide to have a chat with my brothers. I surveil the area and plan my strategy, as there are a few turrets scattered around the arena, but my ruminations are suddenly interrupted by Jankowski going Rambo. He is easily slain but does take care of a turret for me, so I treat his corpse accordingly. I take out this turret and am about to do the same to the other one before it pulls an Uno reverse on me. Reloading, and I try multi-tooling them to death instead, with mixed results, but eventually I do, and... After finally taking out the turrets littering the arena, it's time to face the hardest bosses in the entire game, the Brothers Denton. I start by creating a veritable army of spider bots which zap the grey into submission before whopping out my rocket launcher to start blasting away. Paul dies pretty much instantly, but JC takes a few more hits before going down, but soon vanishes in a flash of blue light. I chuck Paul's body over a wall for some reason and return to finish the job and destroy JC's machine. Once again, a few rockets do this nicely before we're met with the surprise final hardest boss in the entire game, JC Denton. Again. JC rematerializes in front of me and begins firing rockets haphazardly in my direction. I am able to dodge them easily enough, however, because despite not being an augmented super soldier, I have survived this far on my skill with a mouse and keyboard alone. I return fire with my own rockets, many of which hit JC in the chest, before we advance the fight outside and play Ring Around the Rosie for a bit. I blind JC with the secondary fire mode of the submachine gun, a flashbang of sorts, allowing me to get up close and personal to empty several clips right into his augmented face and body. It proves too much for the augmented demigod to handle, and he finally succumbs to death, earning me the worst ending of the game by dooming society to a post-apocalyptic wasteland. But none of that matters, because at least we know now that yes, you can beat Deus Ex Invisible War without augmentations. Guys, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. It was a whole bunch of fun to make, and despite being my first real time playing Invisible War, I did enjoy it, despite it not really feeling, in my opinion at least, like a Deus Ex game and more a generic sci-fi shooter. We only have one more Deus Ex game left to answer the question on whether it can be beaten without augmentations at least, and yes, that will be coming in the future at some point. If you'd like to stay in touch for future videos, please consider subscribing. If you want to support me and the channel, please feel free to visit my Buy Me a Coffee link in the description below. And if you fancy a chat, drop a comment and I will always get back to you. All that's left to say now then is, take care guys, and I will see you in the next one.